Sox post-game show presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. Welcome in Studio B of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I am your host, Sean Anderson. I forgot my hood was up. I should probably take that down. Producer today is Joey Christopoulos. If you have any thoughts, Joey will be your voice. Joey will be speaking for you, the fan. I am also a fan, and I feel dead inside. Sox lose 5-1. The best part about today is we got to change the title from Sox get shut out to Sox get dominated by Luis Castillo. It's not really that much of a win, but as I said yesterday, Miguel Vargas, Shane Smith, it's the minor victories, folks. A minor victory today will be if I don't yell, okay? So, Joey, I think there's a spray bottle out there that we may have to steal from the Cubs staff. Just spray me down if I start to yell. Again, my wife is on your side, the fan side. She thinks I yell too much, that I can be a little bit yelpy. So, I'm trying to work on that, and I'm trying to create a more pleasant experience for you, because if you are tuning in to 2025 White Sox coverage, you're not in a good place.
Godspeed.
14-34 after 48 games. And if you somehow think that that's familiar, you have a really good, mathematical, numerical brain. Because, yes, the White Sox are 14-34 after 48 games, just like they were in 2024. You might also just look that up on Baseball Reference. But this team, although it may look a little bit different on the field under Will Venable, it's pretty much the same.
It's just not baseball.
Exact bad baseball team, Hawk. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already, and make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. We are excited to be here after the 5-1 loss. The Sox could have had their 6th shutout of the year, but it's only the 5th time. I mean, they've only been shut out 5 times in 2025. Through 48 games last year in 2024, 9 times. Is it progress? I don't think so. There was one comment that stuck out to me, and I do want to give credit to them. It was pretty much saying that it's funny that if the White Sox spent a little bit more, that they could be a little bit better. Shy Sox Ryan said, the sad thing is if they could have had a better record, if they could have just spent a little to field a slightly better team, which is absolutely true. I mean, if you look at that bullpen, there isn't a true reliever out there. I know we kind of besmirched Chris Getz for spending money on John Brebbia last year. John Brebbia wasn't even that good at the end all be all, but I think you could have spent a little bit more money on some intriguing project arms that could have actually turned into something. Their one idea in the bullpen this free agency was Mike Clevenger, a guy that has never closed before, or at least the last time that he's closed was in college, which for him was a very, very long time because he's old and oft injured, currently pitching in AAA. They just didn't have a solid plan this year for the bullpen. And one thing, it kind of damned the White Sox. We'll go through today's game, but this at least was mentioned before the bad thing happened that made it 5-0 Seattle. John Schriffen said that Cam Boozer has been officially listed as the closer. How'd that go? That go well?
Very
Joey?
cool.
You got a sound for that going well? I don't think we do. I think we need
sad trombone. I'm looking for it. We can do it.
Do we have the noise that Caesar made when he was stabbed in the back?
You can put it safe. You can put it on the board or what?
Oh, what? He's out. Not good. But Cam Boozer officially is the closer, and he fit the bill very well. The White Sox have not been able to close a game. This was not a save situation in any sort, but he comes in, first batter, walks them on 5 pitches. You can just shoot that from the mountains, pretty much, Jeff Kwiatkowski. Boozer is junk. Boozer was a fun little story. Boozer, a former Chicago Dog pitcher. That's crazy. In 2021, he was pitching over in Rosemont. Gee willikers, that's an independent league. That's great. That's fun. Look at him. He's already made it all over to Chicago and has survived and made a major league career. That's great for Cam Boozer. The White Sox needed to be a little bit more serious about their bullpen. Let's talk about today's game, because today they got another fantastic outing from a starter and couldn't do with it. 14-33 coming into today, And I wrote down this note because I knew it was going to come back. Castillo, 47 straight fastballs. That was last year, Luis Castillo against the 2024 White Sox. We'll get to that. In the top of the first, Davis Martin, he K'd Crawford with a beautiful low changeup, high fastball combination. Just the Davis Martin kind of, MO, right? That kick change low and then, 95 up and high, swing under that. You're out. Great. One thing that Schriffen did mention, an increased velocity we've seen from Davis Martin. So, Joey, if you want to flash the velocity graphic that I said, there you go, the pitch velocity by game, you can see that, hey, look, there is an uptick going up to 95. Martin hasn't averaged 95 this year in a start, but his last start out averaged 95. And then today on his four-seam fastball, he averaged, that's Cam Boozer, he averaged 93.4. But this is also his longest start of his career, but still, you saw a little bit of a dip in velocity today. We'll get to Martin's start overall, but you have seen an increase in velocity. Schriffen was right about that. So a little bit more of effectiveness from Martin, and at least good start with him getting a 1-2-3 inning in the top of the first. And the White Sox gave me hope against Luis Castillo in their first six hitters. Majdroth with a weak first pitch pop-up, not great, but then Tice, his first hit, 101.7. Vargas, a deep drive to left center field. It was in the alley. Maybe if he pulled it down the left field line, it would have been gone. 100.4 miles per hour off the bat. That one's an out. And then Luis Robert Jr., a deep drive to center field, 100.8 off the bat, but that's 300 mile per hour exit velocities and 3 outs, no runs is the main thing. Top of the second, another 1-2-3 for your boy, Davis Martin. One thing too, as well, Majdroth, I know that I didn't love his ability to play shortstop in spring training. I did kind of advocate that, no one else has the position. I would rather see Majdroth there at shortstop than Jake Amaya. They waited 9 days to make that decision and then also left Amaya on the roster for like a month. I don't know why. You can ask Chris Getz that, but I'm fine with Majdroth playing shortstop. And so far, he's played pretty well defensively and showing today a high infield pop-up that could have been just a hilarious, golf from the White Sox. Gaff? Which one's the real
I like
one?
how you said it with a little bit of an accent. It is gaff, but a golf, if you will.
A golf from the White Sox, where, you see just an infield pop-up dropped and there's a, double for Cal Raleigh. Majdroth screaming out loud like a good little league team does. Him calling it off, and the shortstop's the captain of the infield. That means it's his ball. So Majdroth at least showing that we can play little league baseball. But, you love to see it because the opposite is still White Sox baseball. So it's the little things. Again, the minor victories, folks. Bottom of the second, Luis Castillo, leadoff double from Joshua Palacios. Some of you are wondering why Joshua Palacios is on the roster. 109 mile per hour exit velocity. That's nice. At least he got a double. Vaughn had a grounder. It moved Palacios to third base. 103.7 miles per hour. That's 5 straight exit velocities with 100 miles per hour. 5 of the 6 batters had 100 mile per hour exit velocities. That's going to happen for the whole entire game, right, Joey?
Yeah, we got to just take what we can get here.
Yeah. Slater Cade, he's back off the IL. He didn't look good tonight. He got Cade. Then Rojas fly out, nearly kills both Arozarena and Taveras as they merged. They didn't collide, but it could have gotten ugly. But the Mariners are out of the bottom of the second. A pretty good inning from the top of the third from Martin. Not a good inning from the infield. Taveras flies out, then Moore flies out, and then an infield single for Williamson. Rojas couldn't barehand the ball, and then Polanco had an RBI single. It was fairly weak, but Palacios' throw was to Elko. They tried to get J.P. Crawford over at third, but the throw was just not on target enough to get the tag. It was almost a good play, but couldn't get out of the inning, and then J-Rod grounds out. But Martin, really no fault of his own because just weak grounders and weak hits were really the death of him in that inning. It was his longest inning of the day until the 8th inning with 21 pitches, but he was really, really efficient today. Bottom of the third, Majdroth had a single, but that was nothing else. And then that started the horrors for the Chicago White Sox. Joey, let's flash this because I don't need to tell you what happened in the bottom of the 4th, the bottom of the 5th, the bottom of the 6th for the Chicago White Sox. No, not that one. The 24 straight fastballs. So after that Meidroth at bat, he faces the 2-hitter, which would have been, why can't I remember this? It goes Meidroth and Tice. So after Tice, he faces Vargas. He gets Vargas out with a sinker. Then against Robert, he throws a sinker, and gets him out. Then against Palacios, he throws a four-seam fastball, 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 and a four-seam fastball. Called strike, you're out. Palacios. Then to Vaughn, sinker, you're out. Then to Slater, four-seam fastball, four-seam fastball, four-seam fastball. Rojas, four-seam fastball, four-seam fastball, four-seam fastball, four-seam fastball, four-seam fastball, four-seam fastball, sinker, you're out. And then to Elko, sinker, four-seam fastball, and then he finally threw to Chase a slider. So 24 straight fastballs from Luis Castillo, pretty much reliving what you saw last year when he threw 47 straight fastballs against the White Sox. There's just nobody that intimidates him. And the thing is, too, like, mix a cutter in there. Give us some respect. I mean, that thing to Slater to Rojas, flash that again. That's true disrespect. That is Luis Castillo not being afraid of Austin Slater, Joshua Palacios, and Josh Rojas. He threw him, I think, 2 sinkers to those 2 guys, and he threw about 14 pitches to those 3 guys. 12 four-seam fastballs. He just was like, I know you're just trying to fight off the changeup, so I'm just going to keep throwing four-seam fastballs. He just does not respect major league hitters when going up the White Sox, and why should he? Like, Slater, coming off the IL, probably going to be a bit rusty. Rojas, more really a major leaguer because he's a left-handed hitter that can play second base, shortstop, and third base. Joey, I feel like you're not doing your job. You have to be spraying me at this point. I feel like I'm yelling. Palacios as well, you know this.
Your levels are looking good. You're okay for now.
He's got a 200 average, but it's just, I think James Fegan described him perfectly. He is a AAA player all around. He's not a guy like Joey Gallo that has major league power and then everything else is like AA. Palacios is AAA all over. And the only reason he's still here is because Tauchman is not here. Tauchman's in AAA, looking terrible, and also still kind of looking hurt. So whenever they get Palacios off, it's Tauchman coming up. And Tauchman, like, he's better than Palacios, but how good is he? The White Sox signed him for $1 million. Like, the Cubs didn't even want him. Like, not even like a Cubs Sox thing, but just still, like, this was not like a herald signing. It was like maybe Mike Tauchman and Slater could be a decent platoon. But now they have to play Tauchman because if you don't play Tauchman, you play Taylor, and Taylor sucks. Everyone hates Taylor. Everybody hates everybody on this team. Are we at our break yet? Almost. All right.
We're getting close. But you are at least talking about the little bit of money that Chris Getz spent in the offseason when you talk about Michael A. Taylor and you talk about Mr. Tauchman.
Yeah. And it's just, it wasn't enough. They needed to spend something.
If we have time, I have a big picture question regarding that later in the show, but I don't want to get you too far off track of the yelling.
I don't want to yell. I'm just it's annoying. Vargas had a ball in the bottom of the 6th after Castillo embarrassed us with 24 straight fastballs, whether it's a four-seam fastball or a sinker. Vargas had a ball that kind of made me feel like, you know, one of those
alive
that just jumps at him. Yeah, really alive is the description. An 83 mile per hour fly ball, but it's 37 degrees and hey, it's near the warning track. So maybe, just maybe that can make it a 1-1 game, but no, he was just under it. And I was mentioning to Joey, I think he was just thinking that Castillo was going to try to force a fastball up in the zone because that's what that swing stance change is done to him. But Castillo, with his sinker, he's also able to throw a four-seam fastball that then just dips off. So I think that Vargas has to make that decision like, oh, it's a fastball. I recognize fastball out of the hands, and he's going to be having a swing path that's a little bit elevated. And then when it's a fastball that's a little bit lower, his hands try to drop a little bit to get the barrel on. But then again, you know, he's still under it, and he's just not able to put good wood on it. And that's the difficulty with Castillo is, he's got a low arm angle, and those fastballs, even though it's not 98, it's just really, really difficult to pick up out of his hand, whether it's going to be a straight line, it's going to be a sink, it's going to be something that cuts, or it's going to be his nasty changeup that people then had to sit on for him to develop. We have to take a break. If you have any thoughts, let us know in the comments. We're going to talk about Brooks Baldwin after the break. We're going to talk a little bit about the 8th inning and the 9th inning. We'll talk about Adrian Hauser, and then also comparing the 24 and 25 team. Also, Davis Martin talk, people. Come on, this is what you pay for, right? This is what people love about the Chicago White Sox. Davis Martin and losing baseball. Joey, why don't you do the math? 121 plus 34, and I'll pay some bills.
55, 155.
155. So they've lost 155 games in 2 years.
Goes down smooth every time,
and this
Sean.
this year isn't over. Okay. We have to let you know about Bet365. I love Bet365. Maybe a little bit too much, folks. I thought that Luis Robert Jr. was going to hit a home run today. I thought Luis Robert Jr. was going to walk today. I thought Luis Robert Jr. might steal a base today. And guess what? He did none of that. He didn't get on base. He did get on base once. He got on base once. Didn't steal a base.
A little too late. But
our friends over at Bet365 got a little bit of my money. But whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. And new customers get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. So the fun part is if you haven't signed up with code CHGO365, you do get $150 in bonus bets when you deposit $10 and make a bet of $5. You'll get $150 in bonus bets to, put on some futures, put on some spreads, put on some props. And hey, if a team takes a 5-run lead, you automatically get a cash out. If you bet a straight money line and your team takes a 5-0 lead, boom, you're a winner. You don't even have to win the game. They can lose that game 6-5 as long as some point they take a 5-0 lead.
that happened today.
You're a winner with Bet365. Who? The Marlins Cubs game? Was that?
Mariners went up 5-0.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a winner regardless.
I mean,
If you're betting also Mariners money line, you have a fat wallet. Breaking news from Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use our code CHGO365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses, must be 21 plus. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in app only. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Ray CDJR. If you are in the market for a new vehicle, go check out our friends over at Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. New vehicles are in store over at Ray CDJR, and this is your chance to score a great deal during the Employee Pricing Plus sales event. Head to Ray CDJR on Route 12 today to choose from their huge inventory of new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. And right now, lease the new 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xE for only $245 a month for 24 months. Plus, shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. And the best part about the friendly team of brand experts over at Ray CDJR is the Ray Price Promise. The price you're hearing is the price you're going to get. There will never be a price change. You go online, you see a car is a certain number, you go into the dealership on Route 12 in Fox Lake, you're going to get that number, okay? For more information, visit Ray CDJR today on Route 12 in Fox Lake or online at raycdjr.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. There was a lot more people in yesterday's show because we lost to the Cubs. But you real diehards, you real sickos, you're here after the 5-1 losses to the Mariners, okay? So bless you, all right? You're not just here for the Cubs games. A lot of the rivalry is Cubs versus Sox, yada, yada. The real rivalry is the fans versus the owners. Sox fans should hate Jerry Reinsdorf. Cubs fans should hate Tom Ricketts. And honestly, as a Sox fan, I hate Tom Ricketts. And I would love if my Cubs fans hated Jerry Reinsdorf. Because you know what? This town could be great if these very rich people spent more money on their baseball teams. The fact that Kyle Tucker isn't going to be a Cub for 8+ years already kind of shows you something, right? And hey, the White Sox, along with the Royals and, the Royals have signed Bobby Witt.
Well, Pirates.
I think the Pirates weren't one of them. I think it's only the A's and the White Sox are the only teams to never sign a free agent more than $100 million.
Oh, I thought you were going with the stat that they haven't signed a player to a multi-year deal in, I think, 3 or 4 years, which the Pittsburgh Pirates have not. I think you are correct. I think they signed McCutchen.
Yeah, that's ugly. That's an ugly stat. I didn't know that one.
Yeah. And no, Oakland A's, the Sacramento A's, spent some money in the offseason last year.
I don't apologize for that one. They're the Oakland A's. And honestly, they were the Philadelphia A's. Anyways, Davis Martin was fantastic to start the 7th, 68 pitches to start the inning, but that is when the shine kind of came off a little bit for him. He faced both, I think it was Raleigh and Tellez, and got to 2-0 or worse counts to them, and you could kind of just see that his command was slipping. He really felt like, hey, if I make a mistake, that mistake might be a lot worse than I intended, right? It's not going to be a ball outside of the zone. I think I'll probably leave it middle. So he was really trying to pick his spots, and if he was going to miss, he knew he was going to try to miss outside of the zone. So it didn't seem like Martin was confident, but they were losing 1-0. So I didn't hate the fact that he went out in the top of the 8th and went out there and pitched for the Sox. Also, in the bottom of the 7th, Robert was under a hanging slider. I love the pitch that he decided to swing at. It was at the knees, a slider that comes in right over the plate. It's a ball that I know that he's hit before. 91.3 miles per hour, 34-degree launch angle. It was at the track, 334 feet. Just wasn't deep enough. I just have a feeling that maybe it's 2 weeks from now, that ball's going over the fence, because that is a homer that he should hit. And I think he knows it. That's a swing that looks pretty when he he puts it on there. It's just I don't know what's wrong with the actual player. The inning ends with a Vaughn line out to left field. The Sox did challenge it, and the issue is Arozarena actually didn't catch it. There was a slow motion.
Overturning the confirmation on the field, I think, was the issue
difficult.
there. Yeah.
And, it's tough to overturn that. The inning technically already ended as well, and then the Sox challenged it. When you are in slow motion, the ball did hit the ground, but that Vaughn single with 2 outs is going to lead to something. I get the idea that you want the umps to be perfect and fair and yada, yada, yada. And John Schriffen was like, oh, we better get those calls. Yeah, John, you better. Whoop-de-doo.
If we just got those calls.
Can we get a hit?
If we just got those
Joey,
calls.
I feel like you got to spray me. I can't be yelling.
We're getting close.
But yeah, I just, bottom of 7th, I understand that some people are going to have an issue with that. Again, if it's a playoff game, yeah, I'll have an issue with that. It's their 34th loss of the season in 48 games. Top of the 8th, though, you get Martin going in. He's able to K more, and still it's in a 3-2 count, and it's on a slider that's a called strike that's on the outside, and if it goes the other way, that's a walk. Right? It wasn't the prettiest at bat, and he still gets able to get through. I love that Davis Martin is able to fight, but then Williamson gets a single up the middle, and that was pretty much Martin's last batter anyways. And you just didn't see Martin up against Williamson, who's their 9th hitter, who really is a single guy. It's all right, well, just try to throw a fastball up and in and see if he can hit it 350 feet. Robert, with his power, Vargas with his power, hasn't been able to get it out. See if you can challenge him, and you never saw him challenge Williamson. You felt like he was playing more to Williamson in that bat than Martin going after him, and that just felt like a guy that really has never been in that territory. This is his longest start ever, going past the 7th inning. It really felt like he didn't have that confidence out there, so I loved that Will Venable went to Cam Boozer. You are avoiding the fourth turn of the lineup penalty, right? So when a hitter sees pitcher for the 3rd time, their splits are insanely different from the 1st and 2nd. And then when you see him for the 4th time, it's all right, well, now we've got this guy down, and his stuff is worse and degraded since the beginning of the game. So I like that they didn't go against Crawford and Polanco on Crawford and Polanco's strong side against Martin, who was really just not finding it. They go to Boozer, who's now officially the White Sox closer, and he walks the first guy on 5 pitches. And then Garver singles with the bases loaded. And that brings up J-Rod. And the game is 1-0 at this point. And then Cam Boozer throws a pitch to Julio Rodriguez.
Cam closer Boozer.
That sneaks out over the left field wall, just right of the bullpen, right above where they walk out. and that's a 5-0 ball game for the Mariners. The Sox are able to get 1 run in the 9th. It doesn't really matter. I know someone in our diehard Discord was upset that Michael A. Taylor is up at the plate and the game ends with him. But I mean, honestly, like Caro was, originally that would have been Palacios' place, I believe. No, that would have been who was in right field today? Yeah, no, that would have been Slater's opportunity.
So Slater was in left, Taylor was in right, Palacios was DHing today.
But Taylor was brought in as who was in right field then originally? Why do I not know this? This game just broke my brain. Because Caro came in Caro pitched it for Slater. Mm-hmm. And then Taylor came into left field. So the whole idea when they pinch hit Caro is like that's the last time the 7th order will be seen. So they're putting Taylor in truly as a defensive replacement. Taylor swings a fast bat, but for the large majority of his major league career has not been an offensive player. What Michael A. Taylor does is he plays right field, center field, and left field very, very well. He plays defense pretty decently. You won't really see him pulling a Brooks Baldwin or Joshua Palacios of just dropping the ball in the outfield. So he's put in to play better defense than Slater, and mainly just because Caro's a better hitter than Slater. You'd rather have Caro have like an important at bat. So then you put Caro in, and then Michael A. Taylor is the defensive replacement. So like, I don't hate that Michael A. Taylor is like on the team. It makes sense why he's out there. It's just you have to do more in innings 1 through 8 to avoid the game coming down to Michael A. Taylor. Like that's your fault. It's you not doing your job to be in a better position. Hit that thumbs up button. That is the recap of this game. Through 48 games, the Sox are 14-34, the exact same record as last year. I thought just, hey, you look at where they were last year. First of all, 9 shutouts. They've been shut out 9 times at this point last year through 48 games in 2024, 5 times this year. So a little bit of progress. But we talked last year when we did have Vinny and Herb. Sky point. That do we have to take a break right now? Let's take the temp. Okay. Let's take the temp. Let's go to our friends over at Four Seasons, and let's take the temp of 2024 versus 2025. We do want to let you know about our friends over at Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning. Let me actually make sure that I'm getting this right. Our trusted local experts are Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com. Taking the temp is where we take the temperature with our friends over at Four Seasons. Is this team really different than 2024? Again, they've been shut out less. They've had a lot more blowout wins as well. But what we were talking about last year was that 39-game stretch where they were facing the Yankees and Boston, Orioles, the Dodgers, Atlanta, because there was that game earlier that was rained out, and then they had to move it to later in this year. Like, through that 39-game stretch, the only easy teams they played were the Nationals and then I think the Rockies. And, like, that was really it. This team doesn't have a 39-game stretch, so I thought that maybe they'd be able to at least put out something that was a little bit more respectable. But, I mean, we talked about how deflating that series was against the Cubs. This was probably the second worst series that they've played against the Cubs. And this Mariners game is just like that Royals game that was the worst. The Royals series that they had 2 shutouts in 4 games, like, that was easily the worst series. And this is just the start of another one, because you get a great start from Davis Martin, 7 and a third innings pitched. What's the final 3 Ks for him? Only 1 walk, and that was again late in the 8th or late in the 7th inning. But he was 4 hits.
Yeah, 4 hits, 3 Ks, 1 walk, 2 earned runs. Obviously, those came in that 8th inning, but no, I mean, back-to-back really good starting performances for Davis Martin, just like Jonathan Cannon's now on a little bit of a heater too as well. Right. Sox just can't score.
You get a great start from Shane Smith on Friday too, and you just can't even play defense behind him. So taking the temperature, it's not good, because you think it's going to be better, but again, they just didn't spend money on this team. This team doesn't have talent. I know that frustrates people when I say that, but this team does not have talent. I like the guys on the team. I wish they did better, but like, even the one that does have talent is Luis Robert Jr., and I can't defend him anymore. There is no defending him. He's just bad at baseball. He's bad at putting a bat on a ball. He needs to do that more often. Like, sometimes my job is very, very easy because this team is just so effing bad at times. 151 games they've lost in 2 years of baseball. What's 162 plus 48? You're kind of a calculator. That's
162 plus 48. That's 210.
210?
Yeah,
I said 200.
210.
I said 200. So yeah, that's
and 121 plus 34 is 155. By the way,
so 155 losses in the past 210 games.
That's almost as much as Bet365.
The temperature is I'm sick to my stomach. The temperature is I'm either 212 degrees and my insides are boiling, or it's negative 32 and I'm a popsicle.
I was gonna say, do you prefer being freezing cold or wildly hot? If you had your choice, would you rather be hot or would you rather be cold?
Like, but to the insane degree?
Yeah. I'm going hot.
Do I have shade? Do I have shade? Or is it just sun on me?
Do the White Sox have shade right now from this offensive downslide and 5-game losing streak?
We have a break to come up to, and I need this fleshed out more. I will just say cold. I'll take the cold. All right, let's take a break here on the CHGO White Sox podcast presented by Bet365. We want to let you know about our friends over at Mando. Oh no, I don't have my bag. Oh, Joey, can you smell me? I don't know if I didn't take all the HR.
As your producer, I smell you before every show, and let me tell you, you smell fantastic.
What are you getting hints of anything?
Is it the pink? Is it the blue?
Pink or blue? What are you talking about?
Oh wait, no, I smell in colors.
Oh, you smell in colors. Okay,
yeah, I might be having a brain
maybe
meltdown.
You should be smelling brown. Ooh, that's not a good color to smell. Mando makes whole body deodorants that are unique from any other deodorant. They're safe to use all over your body. And what Joey should be smelling is the bourbon leather, because I have the lovely Mando cream tube deodorant on me and the bourbon leather smell. I also have a Pro Sport one. I have a Mountain Fiji one. I love the Mando deodorant. I am somebody that needs deodorant. I've tried a lot of deodorants. I've tried natural deodorants. I've tried extra strength deodorants. The one that uses, or at least works the best for me, is Mando. I really do like the cream tube option as well. Hey, they got the stick for all of you people that like to go by the normal, but they actually introduced me to the cream tube, and cream tube deodorant's kind of changed my life, folks. So I just would urge you to go check out Mando. It was created by a doctor who firsthand saw how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated, and he's done a great job of creating this product. And Mando Starters Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant for you normies. It also comes with the cream tube deodorant, so you can be put onto the greatest thing ever, and also 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. And as a special offer to listeners, new customers can get a $5 off starter pack with our exclusive code CHGO. That equates to 40% off your starter pack. Use code CHGO at shopmando.com. That's SHAOP. Nope, that's not how you spell shop. SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Lucy. Level up your nicotine routine with our friends over at Lucy. If you are somebody like me that has ADHD, you probably need to stop going to the gas station right before work, because when you go right before work, you're going to be 5-10 minutes late. Lucy, with our code, you could save money and get it shipped directly to your door, so you can subscribe and save. And you can check out their Lucy Breakers. It is nicotine pouches with a refreshing, hydrating pack. They have 6 flavors that you could try from in 4 milligram strength and also 8 milligram strength. And our guy, Chris Pankow, loves the Lucy Breakers. They are a game changer in the nicotine game. And there are some lovely, lovely flavors that you could try out. And there's some also variety packs where you could try different flavor. Hey, you don't know what flavor you like? You could try every flavor. You could try the rainbow with our friends over at lucy.co. Go over to lucy.co and use code CHGO2025 to get 20% off. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. As Joey says, 28 people in the chat. Hit that like button. We only got 7 people. Please be kind. Hit that like button. If you like us, hit that like button. Joey doesn't like Julio Rodriguez.
Before we hit the like button for that.
Before we get to Brooks Baldwin, before we get to Adrian Hauser, before we get to...
Can't wait.
think we kind of did the 2024-2025 thing. What'd you say about Julio Rodriguez pre-Grand Slam?
So pre-Grand Slam, that by the way would have gone out in only 7 of 30 ballparks this year. I said that.
Hey, what happened though? Did it go out?
It went out.
Doesn't matter.
They all count.
Yeah. It could have gone out in 0 of 30 according to StatCast, and all that matters is it went out. This is all that matters. It's a home run. Yeah. I don't care.
Not in
Seattle.
Buddy,
it went out.
So here's my premise.
That's one of the 8.
And during this argument, to be very fair, we did reference fantasy baseball hierarchy, and then we talked about top 10 players according to WAR.
We did.
And I said last year and into this year to this point, I feel like Julio Rodriguez has underperformed what my expectation was for him, which was to be one of the next great superstars in Major League Baseball. And I called him a bummer.
Joey thought that Julio Rodriguez was bringing a skyscraper to Seattle's skyline. Like, this man had expectations out the wazoo for Julio Rodriguez, who, again, since
he was going to save basketball in Seattle,
has been a top 10 player in Major League Baseball, has a 1.5 WAR season currently, is on pace for a 6 WAR season, and I'm just so glad that he shut you up.
Sometimes
with that Grand Slam.
Did
he shut you up, or
look,
or are you still underperforming?
No. I'm happy to be wrong, but sometimes with my superstars, I like them to get on base more than a 30% clip, and I like a little bit better than a 4-1 strikeout rate. And we both would at least agree that his first half last year was absolute garbage. His second half, he did rebound, but I think he's been a bit of a bummer.
And like I told you, he has had 7 halves of baseball in his career. 6 of them have been superstar, phenomenal level, and
fair.
You're judging him extremely harsh on the one bad half.
It was really bad. It was Luis Robert bad.
I know you just have come back from California to Chicago. You should find a therapist.
See, Melissa, J-Rod on my fantasy team. Melissa, hop in the chat. Are you happy with it?
Melissa,
are you happy with your
it?
Selection? And you didn't draft him in the first round.
Silly.
I know that didn't happen.
All right. Someone that's not on anyone's fantasy team, Brooks Baldwin. Austin Slater was reinstated off of the IL. Brooks Baldwin was optioned. There was more frustration in our diehard chat. I also want to give a shout out to, I'm not recalling the person's name off the top of my head, but they've been very active in the Discord channel, so let me make sure that I'm giving a shout out to them. You can also become a diehard today. Joey, if you want to flash that QR code, by flashing that QR code. But yeah, shout out to Nilpak, who's been very active and was frustrated that Brooks Baldwin has been sent down. I have really liked what Brooks Baldwin has given to this team. You can look at his baseball reference, and obviously you can look at the stats and see that -1 is terrible. Brooks Baldwin has not been a productive Major League Baseball player in his time in the major leagues, even including last year and this year. I think, though, a lot has been put on his plate. I think if you asked a kid to go into deep water for their first time swimming and they drowned, first of all, you're probably not going to get a chance to blame the kid, unfortunately. Baby shoes never worn. But, like, it's maybe just the situation they're being put into. And it's not that he's playing the outfield. He's played the outfield a lot. It's just that he's playing left field one day, second base the next, third base, shortstop, left field, center field. They're putting him in every single situation for a 24-year-old that played 8 games at Charlotte and was immediately advanced to the major leagues on a terrible team last year. And again, this year has been asked to do everything. So I just think that Sox fans have been very warmed to Brooks Baldwin because, A, he looks likable. Again, he uses an entire stick of eye black for his
Beautiful
face.
Amount.
He has the extra wide Sharpie version of eye black and just marks that all over his face. But it seems like he goes out there and tries to do his best. And I know that doesn't matter at the end of the day in baseball, but do his best with a pretty difficult situation. Him being 24, not playing a ton of AAA, I think it's a good idea for them to, with this roster crunch, send him down to AAA. And they said that he's mainly going to play center field and shortstop. I think that's very smart. I think it's smart to keep up his flexibility to play the outfield, but make him play the easiest outfield position in center field, where it's mainly just reactionary, going to your right or left and reading the balls, or shortstop, where he should have been playing all along. Jake Amaya shouldn't have been on this team. This is not about Brooks Baldwin being optioned. This is maybe about them mishandling Brooks Baldwin. They put a entire catering platter worth of food onto his plate. They should have made him the starting shortstop if Chase Maedroth wasn't going to be on the opening day roster, and that was their mistake. They played Jacob Maya way too much, and they played Brooks Baldwin in right field, center field, left field, shortstop, and second base too much. I think that his efforts were valiant, but the actual production was terrible. I think that he could, though, be a part of the 2026 team. I'm not writing him off. I think that he's an interesting player, and if he's able to kind of sharpen his hitting down at AAA, I think that he could be a value utility bench bat. I don't think this is anyone that you should write into the starting lineup of the 2028 Chicago White Sox, but he could be a piece that floats around as your Adam Engel. Maybe he's the Adam Engel of this team. And even Melissa, like, she says White Sox mishandling prospects, tale as old as time. Like, I just don't think that they think he's a prospect. Jared Willis wrote that Tim Elko wasn't even on the White Sox internal top 30. Like, we all love Tim Elko. I don't think he was on my top 30 either, so credit to Tim Elko for just getting up to the major leagues. But, like, this was a guy that, Brooks Baldwin, that was selected in the 10th round. They have other mouths to feed. They still have Jacob Gonzalez, who's now moved over to second base. They have Geral Perez. They have Mogollon. They have the kid that they acquired for Tanner Banks that I can't remember.
Colson Montgomery still might be
Colson
playing
Montgomery
shortstop
is
at
there.
this point.
Yes, but they have a lot of mouths to feed, middle infield mouths to feed. Now Brooks Baldwin's another mouth to feed. Like, they didn't do him right by not putting him at shortstop, but also, like, I just don't think they think highly of Brooks Baldwin at the end of the day. I think that's what you're learning, is that they really didn't feel like they needed to treat him with care because he might not amount to anything. They might not really want to waste their time on Brooks Baldwin if he's not able to turn it around in AAA. So, I mean, it's up to Brooks at this point to get back.
Well, it definitely seemed like, I mean, to start this season, he was one of the more consistent hitters, and I think he popped that first week or two, which I think bought him a lot of time in the major leagues. My question for you is, when you mentioned shortstop and center field, versatility is great, but when he goes down to AAA, where would you like to see him get his most run at? In the outfield playing center field or shortstop? Because I thought he did quite all right as a shortstop. I don't know if he profiles there long term, but if he's going to help this organization, what position do you think he would probably help the organization best at? If he's
going to help this organization, they think he's going to help him as a utility player. They like the fact that he's a switch hitter that can hopefully, ideally, play the outfield and play the infield. That on any day somebody needs a rest, Brooks Baldwin can be there, whether there's a righty or lefty on the mound. That's what they desire in Brooks Baldwin, is his flexibility. And hey, Melissa says they sure did parade Baldwin around at Sox Fest. Yeah, they got nobody on the damn team. That's their fault. Really, all their marketing this year is 125 years of baseball that has happened, or 124 years of baseball that has happened.
Dick Allen bobblehead day coming up around the corner.
Did you see how fast CHSN was to make a Miguel Vargas Cubs commercial break highlight reel? Like, no offense to them, we would too. They're a brand new company that needs fresh bumpers and stuff like that. But like, man, one day and they got Miguel Vargas's crosstown highlights into a bumper.
Knee-jerk question here. Maybe it's a little bit of a hot take. Is Miguel Vargas's weekend against the Chicago Cubs, is that the highlight of the season so far? Or is it the overall arcing?
There's been no highlight. They're 14 and 34.
There has to be a highlight.
No.
There is up and down. This is Newton's gravity. There has to be a highest.
Was there a highlight of last year? No. No. Joey, they lost 121 games. No. It was not a highlight. I don't care.
No, Eric Fetty start.
There are highs or lows. Their highest high is like the Dodgers' 123rd high.
Their high was taking 5 of 6 to end the season and stave off.
And nobody cared. Nobody was
Infinity.
watching. They still lost 121 games. I know what you're doing. It's valiant. You're just like Brooks Baldwin. They sucked.
No one can see my eye black. My eye black is on right now.
All right. Final thing. Robert Murray reported that the White Sox have signed Adrian Hauser. He was recently released from the Rangers organization. He's 32 years old. He previously pitched with the Brewers and Mets. He was picked up last year by the Mets by his old GM, David Stearns, who worked with the Milwaukee Brewers. He was a part of the trade in 2015 at the deadline that sent Carlos Gomez and Mike Fiers to Houston, and that sent Hauser, Hader, Domingo Santana, and Brett Phillips to Milwaukee. If you're wondering why Milwaukee's able to just churn talent, it's because when they trade a Carlos Gomez and Mike Fiers, they're able to get their closer for like 6 years, Hauser, who ended up starting like a decent amount of games for them, a decent piece, put up 2 WAR with the Brewers, not bad. And then Domingo Santana, who was a switch hitting, like okay, interesting player, interesting enough to play on some fantasy teams. I know I owned him. Sam Roberts says ruining Pete Rose night in Cincy. I'll give it to that. How about ruining Pete Rose night in Cincy?
New leader in the clubhouse.
Honestly, I like that one. The Vargas home run on Pete Rose night is actually probably it. So shout out to Sam Roberts. Sam bails you out there. But yeah, he was acquired by Milwaukee in 2015. Stearns really liked him, but he was terrible with the Mets in 2024. 7 games started, a 5.84 ERA. In AAA Round Rock this year, 39 1/3 innings pitched, 5.03 ERA. However, nearly a K per 9 in those 39 1/3 innings. He had 37 strikeouts, so 8.5 K per 9. But his best year was in 2019, a 2 B-WAR season, 111 1/3 innings pitched. 18 of those games were started out of 35 games. A 3.72 ERA. At that point, that's a 1.20 ERA plus. 9.5 Ks to 3 walks per 9. I think he's at his best when he's throwing hard. He doesn't really throw that hard anymore. The league has just kind of started to throw harder, so there hasn't been a real velocity jump. You can show the stats from 2024. He's got a 40-degree arm angle, which is pretty average, so nothing really too kooky there. He does get a decent amount of depth against league average on his curveball, but when a pitch is used 8% of the time, and when it's proportional to usage of major league average, it usually just those curves are just kind of lower because there's less usage. I know it's proportional, but he's only threw I think 8 actual curveballs last year. So that curveball is pretty normal. The slider's pretty normal. The 4-seam fastball is pretty normal. The sinker's pretty normal. The changeup's pretty normal. This guy's pretty normal. He might start tomorrow. They really don't have a guy to eat innings. Bryce Wilson hasn't been that good. Maybe Wilson has moved back to an actual inning eater role, but Hauser is pretty much an inning eater. This is not a guy that they think Adrian Hauser is going to be a piece at the deadline that they can move, or Adrian Hauser is going to be able to get them through the end of the season. This is a Brad Keller, and hey, look, Brad Keller's now helping out the Cubs in their bullpen, but this is not a Brad Keller of the Sox in 2024 where he's going to start 16 innings and then that's going to be done. That's what I expect from Adrian Hauser. This is to get them to the end of June, pretty much, and I don't even know what's going to happen then. I think they really do need to get serious about adding some arm. Because there isn't an arm in Charlotte that is going to come and help this rotation, and Bryce Wilson isn't that. Maybe Hauser can be a Band-Aid, and that's what you should expect from Adrian Hauser, because it sounds like he will be on the Major League roster at some point. Maybe Miguel Castro, who they just acquired from Houston's gone. Gomez, who pitched tonight, who they acquired from Los Angeles, maybe he's gone. But I could just see them moving on from a pitcher soon. This show has been presented by Bet365. Use code CHGO365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. Thank you to Joey Christopoulos for producing the show. Thank you to everyone for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. From Sox Jack, from Lyle, Sam Roberts, Goop Like Soup, Ashley, Melissa. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us. If you haven't hit that like button, please hit that like button. We will be back on Wednesday for the 1:10 game between the Mariners and White Sox. Hopefully, on Tuesday or Wednesday, they're able to win a game. And hey, if they don't lose, maybe it's rained out. Maybe they just don't even play the damn game. Goodbye.
Bye week, win week.
We all silly like the mayor.